Let's talk about something delicious, shall we? We're going to solve a really common puzzle in the English language today. How in the world do you count things that seem, well, uncountable? We'll be talking all about food, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll see how just a few simple words can make you sound like you've been speaking English your whole life.
So, picture this. You're in a cafe and you hear someone order 2 breads. It sounds just a little off, doesn't it? It's something you feel more than you think about. Well, there's a really simple reason for that, and today we are going to crack that code.
And here it is, the big secret. In English, stuff like water, rice, or bread are considered uncountable. You can't just have one bread like you have one apple. They're seen as a whole substance, just stuff. So the question is, how do we talk about them? How do we count them? The answer is this awesome little word called a quantifier, and it's really the hero of our story today. Think of it like a container or a measuring cup. It's a word that gives shape and size to something that doesn't have a clear shape or size. It's the key that unlocks it all.
You know, the best way to really get a feel for this is to just see it in action. So come on, let's go on a quick virtual shopping trip together and pay close attention to our shopping list because every single item is a clue.
All right, here's what we're grabbing. Now look at these words: bottles, can, jar. Each one is chosen for a super specific reason, and it's usually all about the packaging. And yep, you saw that last one correctly. A piece of amber? We'll get to that, I promise. First, let's break a few of these down.
Okay, this is a perfect example of how specific this gets. We ask for a can of soda because it comes in a metal container. Simple. But for something like jam or honey, which usually comes in glass, we say a jar of. It's a tiny detail, but it's one of those things that makes you sound totally natural.
And what about our milk? Well, we grab a carton of milk. That word, carton, is perfect for those paper or plastic containers. You know the ones. It works for juice, too. See how the quantifier is directly connected to the package it comes in? Next on the list, spaghetti. We buy a pack of spaghetti. Pack is a wonderfully useful word for anything that's bundled together. It could be pasta, a pack of gum, or even a pack of playing cards.
All right, shopping trip complete. Let's head back to the kitchen with all our stuff, because now we're going to see how these quantifiers work when we actually start preparing the food itself. Okay, time for a classic cheese sandwich. We start with the whole thing, a loaf of bread. Then, from that loaf, we take 2 slices of bread. We add a piece of cheese, and to finish it off, just a pinch of salt. Did you catch that? We went from a whole loaf all the way down to a tiny pinch. Quantifiers work at every single scale.
I absolutely love this one. A pinch isn't just some random small amount. It's literally the tiny bit of salt or spice you can hold between your thumb and forefinger. It's such a visual, descriptive word.
And the same idea applies to other small amounts. You know, if you're sweetening your coffee, you'd probably use a spoonful of sugar. If you're cooking, maybe you only need a drop of oil. Each word just paints a really clear picture.
Okay, so we've got quantifiers for containers and for portions. But this is where it gets really interesting. These words aren't just for the kitchen. They have these amazing linguistic superpowers that let them jump into totally different situations.
Just take the word bar. Of course, you can have a bar of chocolate. Makes perfect sense. But you can also have a bar of soap. The quantifier isn't describing what it's made of. It's describing the shape, that long rectangular block. That's its superpower.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Remember that really weird item on our shopping list? What on earth is a piece of amber doing there?
So, get this. Amber is fossilized tree resin. And this just shows you the incredible power of a word like piece. You can have a piece of cheese for your sandwich, a piece of paper, or a piece of ancient fossilized tree resin. It's the ultimate all-purpose quantifier for a single portion of almost anything.
After all this talk about shopping and cooking, I think it's finally time to serve things up. And guess what? Quantifiers are absolutely essential here too. They help us describe how we serve our food and drinks.
Now here's a really common one. Generally speaking, we use a cup of for hot drinks, tea, coffee, you know the drill. But for cold drinks, like milk or juice, we almost always say a glass of. It's a subtle little rule, but it makes your English sound so much more authentic.
And of course, to complete the meal, you can serve up a bowl of soup or a plate of pasta. Once again, the quantifier is just the serving dish itself. It's so simple and logical, and it's something we all do without even thinking about it. So from the shelves of the grocery store all the way to the dinner table, we've seen how these tiny little words do a really big job. Let's wrap it all up with one perfect sentence.
Just look at this sentence. It's so clear, it's specific, and it's perfect English. You can immediately picture that meal, right? It uses a glass of, slices of, and a piece of to take these vague, uncountable things and turn them into a real, solid meal.
So, at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway here? Quantifiers aren't just about boring grammar rules. They're storytelling tools. They take these fuzzy ideas like water or bread, and they make them real. They give them shape, a size, and a place in our world so we can share our stories. And now, I have a little homework for you. Using a quantifier, what's the very next thing you're going to eat or drink? Will it be a cup of coffee, a slice of pizza, maybe a bowl of cereal? Now you know exactly how to say it.